It's Sunday night on, Sunday night under the lights. The Dolphins just got creamed. It was at the game. It was very depressing. And they showed like promise, they could score, and all of a sudden they don't score, and then they score, and then they catch up. They tie the game with like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. They gave up the field goal. Then they kick it off to the Dolphins, and they start doing the.
But you were at the game.
I'm at the game, of course. I've been there since 1970.
But the problem with American football is...
Look, here comes the commie Grinch. What are you going to say? He thinks the problem with American football, as if there's a comparison to European soccer.
Yeah, I want to hear this one because I got an argument about soccer.
Come on, Grinch.
Go ahead.
No, it's not so much about soccer. It's about rugby.
Oh,
yeah, well, rugby, Australian football, rugby kind of stuff.
Or English, that's a tough game.
Exactly.
I like that. They have missing teeth.
No, rugby, apart from missing teeth and ears here and there.
They got 900 guys piling on
Exactly, yeah. And they say that rugby is a game played by animals. It's a gentleman's sport played by animals, and after that, you have the third half where everybody gets together and they hug and everything like that. Yeah. Which in American football is not that friendly.
Yes, they are. After the game, these guys go out and they sleep with each other's wives. And
they're off the field. They're all friends.
Well, we have to. It's a Sunday evening. We want to here celebrate everything and thank
that's right.
Everybody.
Today's a day of faith. Today's a Sabbath. We shouldn't be talking about having affairs with rugby wives.
Exactly.
Excuse me. Yeah. You brought that into the conversation. I was talking about my depression with the Miami Dolphins, and usually my old person, I would have just gone straight to the Golden Hog as I did, but I would have eaten a huge mountain of food. Today, I just walked out with stinky cheese.
I wonder who sold you the stinky cheese.
You had the roast pork. Don't fib. We saw the roast pork.
But I wasn't eating it. I took it to go.
We don't know what happened to it, though.
Oh, yeah, I did tap into it. It was a little bit of soup, too.
If the soup,
I'm surprised.
Which one did you take?
I got the soup thinking it was minestrone, and it wasn't. It was tuna. It was tuna soup.
Fish soup.
Oh.
You got the fish soup or the chicken?
Well, I called it tuna. Sorry. You gave it general terms. I gave it specific terms.
But I didn't hear what was it, fish?
Well, yeah, but I said tuna. It's because I
tasted
the fish. But I might be wrong. What fish is it?
It was fish.
Talking of fish.
Well, what fish, Carmine?
I don't know.
Not all fish is tuna.
I don't eat fish.
Talking of fish, I just wanted to say that yesterday Miss World was celebrated, and Miss India has become Miss World, not Miss Universe, Miss World, and number 2 is Miss Venezuela. So hey, the best of both sides of the world. One type of women which are educated
Be careful. We're in very aggressive times right now.
I'm talking about Miss Venezuela.
You might have our audience going ape. You might be sexually harassing all of them by not mentioning each and every country that exists for men to hit on, talk to, sweet talk.
I just want to say one thing.
And then 10 years from now, they'll say, I didn't accept those advances.
Another bombshell drops today with the rapes. I want you to see this now.
Don't show us a C. Talk about it. It's
exactly.
radio.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that you could express better than me.
Oh, Caitlyn Jenner hit on Bruce Jenner.
Well, there's a sexual harassment suit.
So even he's suing himself.
He's suing himself.
He's suing himself. So the Bruce Jenner followed the Caitlyn Jenner, and now all hell is breaking loose.
I got raped once by a beautiful woman. I never reported it, though. You think I should report it? It was 40 years ago.
You documented it.
Yeah, it was 40 years ago.
You still have the bed linens, right?
And she taught you everything you know.
I don't even. She probably looks like my grandmother now, and I look like her grandfather. So.
You still have those underwears?
No, we didn't wear no underwear back then.
Yeah. That's true. That was the hippie time.
They used to get in the way.
Yeah. That's the hippie.
In the free love area, nobody wore underwear.
So, Carmen, were you like a hippie or no?
I like a hippie? No, I had to work every day.
Yeah.
My friends went to...
That's a great answer for the concrete conservative.
My friends all went to Woodstock and everything. I couldn't go because I was working for my family. My family, if you know my family, the only way you could get out of work is if you died. and even then, they would have to wheel your casket into the store because they wouldn't believe you died unless they saw you.
You had to touch it and see if you were cold.
Yeah, you had to go to work. If you didn't go to work, that was like your head was on the chopping block.
You had like 5 brothers too, and everybody had.
I had 3 brothers.
And how many sisters?
No sisters.
Just 3 brothers.
No, just 3
I
brothers.
have 2 brothers. And guarantee
mother-
your parents gave up when they saw you, right? Had
No,
no children.
I'm the youngest, and I have one older one than me, so it's just the two
Just
of
the
us.
2 of us.
Yeah.
And you guys are brats.
No, we're complete opposites.
And another male, another boy?
No,
or
no, it's a
just-
girl and me. That's
Is
it.
she better looking than you?
Well, she's a blonde and blue
Well,
eyed,
she's
but
a
I got the
girl.
looks.
Of course she's better looking than him.
No, because she could shave.
Let me see that. I
I mean,
want to show him that.
she could sound like the girl that introduces Blink Radio on the hour every hour. She sounds like she's got hair in her back.
But she lives on the island.
No, my sister doesn't. No, my sister's from New
I wanna
York.
show him that. I want to show him that.
Hey,
Yeah, come
look,
on,
I
you
phoned
can
my hair.
catch.
This is crazy.
So Caitlyn Jenner is suing Bruce Jenner for
Of years
sexual
of
harassment.
sexual abuse.
That's pretty
Oh.
intense.
You understand the
I
joke?
want to see the judge who takes that case in. This
Well,
is really,
you know, it's getting so
Will the
out of
party-
hand with all these things that's what the joke is about. That, you know, all of a sudden out of work, everybody's claiming sexual harassment. Why didn't they do it 20 years ago when it happened?
You know,
Everybody wants to write a
it's-
book.
it's-
There's gonna be
it's-
9,000
the
books.
problem is that the victim of abuse has every reason to not talk until years go by.
yes.
Well, but I
and-
want to talk about abuse
And
that
that's the
happened
part
to me.
of the part of the subject matter is that ultimately the behavior of these older guys on these younger women is really the mistake, you know, because when it's a 50-year-old powerful man with a secretary, come on, what are the
Look,
chances of no matter what you do with her, what are the chances of her
Listen.
accepting the proposition? So they don't have an excuse. It's obviously a fetish kind of thing. It's excitement, adrenaline.
No.
rush.
There's
Sorry.
a lot of arguments against this stuff. Did you see this? Did you see the teacher, 23-year-old, yesterday? 23-year-old woman, very nice looking, I might say,
Okay.
had an affair with one of our students who was 17.
Okay.
Right?
Like if he cared.
But
he-
he reported it so they could sue the school.
Or the mother.
But here's my argument. Number one, this is not. They're calling her a pedophile. And all this other. It's not a pedophile. Number one, the state they're in, 17 is legal. Number two, they're only 6 years difference.
Well, can you announce
Really,
the
the
state?
lawsuit is that it's inappropriate for a teacher
Yeah,
to do something with them. But
it's definitely
but-
that's a different type of
and this
homework.
is the rare thing where the woman
It's
is
a different
getting,
style. That's a different. That's
but
that's pretty awesome tutoring.
But the thing is this. Look, this kid knew exactly what he was doing. At 17 years
Yes.
old, I was already married at 19 years old. At 17, we know what we're doing.
Yes.
And don't tell me that this woman should get.
Well-
Let me tell you, they're going to take a license away. They're going to do all this stuff. You can murder somebody and be out of jail in 2 years.
And
this
with a college
woman,
degree.
for what she did, will get 10 years.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
You know, it's ridiculous.
I think you're right. I think the parents want the money from the school district, guaranteed 4-year scholarship for their child.
You know, if that was me, my father'd be hugging me. He'd be proud of me. Oh, that's a beautiful girl.
Introduce me to
Now it's what you do to my son. Yeah, what you do to my son. I could understand if it was a daughter and it was a man. It's a different story.
Absolutely.
I have a daughter, 16.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different story. If it's a daughter, I would
every
be
dad
fine.
that has a daughter
although
has to tread.
the daughter knows what she's doing as well.
Yeah, but it's still, you know, you don't want to, you don't mind your son, but the daughter, you know. It's
Nowadays-
No, it's just it's so offensive, and that any person like me, you might want to play cool and all. Like right now, I feel like playing cool, but I think that if that were something of a violating nature, I'm on the radio, so I can't really say what I would do. But it's so
But
offensive.
these
When you have a daughter, all your male instincts are out the window, because you know how you were when you were young.
yeah,
You know the foolish things you did with women when you were young.
yeah.
Sometimes some of the most ridiculous things actually were turn-ons for your partners, for your girlfriends. So there is no real fine line where any of this stuff is insane. So I sit there and look at the news, and I say, for every guy that gets accused of something like that, even in a work environment, there's a guy that can tell you she liked it.
But let me get on two things here. The first one, it's the sociological aspect of we're being a macho society. Oh yeah, look what I did. I'm such a great guy. Look how many this and that. But on the other hand, you also have the women who are, when they are actually being harassed or abused, that has a sociological counter effect on the long term on that girl or lady for the sake. In that sense, that has a big check for this woman
Yeah,
in
but
her
not the
life.
ones that agreed to it and then complained 20 years later.
I'm not talking about
Because
that.
they did it for power and fame.
Exactly.
You
But
know.
what would you do in
Yeah,
those circumstances,
remember,
as they always say?
talking about it because it's in the news today doesn't benefit us, doesn't benefit the audience to hear it. There's so many such situations that are violent, non-violent. Some are casual, and some are no big deal. There's some that are really a big deal. There's a girl reporting now that date rape with the director of Lena Dunham's program called Girls. The guy who wrote the thing, he apparently was on top of her, penetrating her. She was knocked out, and she woke up to him inside her. That's rape.
Yeah.
So we don't benefit. We all want to have our opinions about it, but none of us gain anything by talking about it because each situation is by itself, and it only lends to misunderstandings. Again, you go back to having your own daughter. You have a daughter, so I hate to think of what would happen to a guy who abused my daughter.
Well,
And I don't know what I'm willing to give up in terms of my personal freedoms to make it very clear to that person.
Some people would blow a guy's brains out.
But
Yeah.
think about the other thing. Remember when we were in high school and the girls in our class, they dated
I went
guys.
to an all-boys school, so it was only the boys
sorry.
in my class.
They dated guys a lot older.
Exactly. Girls dated guys who were a lot older.
Yeah, freshmen
So-
with seniors, yeah.
Exactly.
And that senior could be 18.
But I'm going to give you some fodder. All right?
Lay it on me, Carmine.
About 15 or 20 years ago,